two big guys. We're minus Grover right at the moment. We got to fill in this week. For those of you that don't know and don't follow the PBR, this is an up-and-comer that's seen his ways from the Velocity Tour on up to now the UTB. And now you're 21st?
Yes, sir.
21st in the world.
Yep.
So he's here to stay for a while. And we're excited.
Pull your weight. You get to stick around a little longer.
You're not going to pull my weight. Let's just be honest.
That would be a challenge.
There was probably a time where you could have, but now that you're older,
he would probably
more feeble,
have a better chance to win the Worlds this year.
Than pull my weight.
Your weight.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, with that being said, he's not as good a bull rider as I thought he was. Then, if he can't pull me around, so I don't know. Anyway, this is Bradley Brittain, Odessa, Texas, by way of Artesia, New Mexico.
Yes, sir.
So down there in south of Roswell. So do you ever go to or do you ever become part of the whole alien?
No, sir. No, but we've been to the museum there, and it's kind of cool listening to all the stories and everything.
So growing up, when you said, well, I'm from here and close to Roswell, was there always like an explanation that you had to give to people?
What do you mean?
Just the whole alien and testing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you say Roswell anywhere, everybody automatically starts asking about aliens. That's all they care about.
Wasn't there a deal a couple years ago, like people were going to go protest down there? Or Brady, what was that?
Storm Area 51.
What was it? Storm Area 51. Yeah, see Brady on the outside.
Yep.
Were you going to be a part of that?
No.
Dang it. I've yet to meet one person that was.
Well, people talk about it, but nobody ever claims it.
Well, it's like, yeah.
It's like Burning Man.
Yeah. We'll just stop right there.
That's a whole.
Do you know what Burning Man is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Learned about it in the history books.
All right. Well, yeah. Area 51. One of these days, I'll make
Check
my
it
way
out.
down. Yeah. I mean, just to see what it is.
And what is it?
Just a piece of land.
A big hole in the ground?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why.
Have you been out there?
No, I sure have. My dad actually has, but I haven't.
So is it like, are people scared to go out there because of like contaminants, or is it just so off limits to?
No.
I would be more worried about contaminants in like New York City than I would be out in the middle of, I mean, honestly.
Yeah. No,
Instead of being out in the middle of nowhere and worry about that.
Most people can't even get to it, I don't think. They get about a mile from it and get stopped by guards and everything.
Really? So people
yeah.
sneak on?
They try to. They try to, like, I watched a video the other day and they were riding motorcycles up to it and they got stopped and had to turn around.
I guess you just go take a picture. I mean, I don't know what you would do.
Grand Canyon?
It's kind of like going and seeing where Elvis lived. Have you been through there lately? Like, for those of us that travel, I mean, you drive through Memphis and then you see like Graceland and you're like, oh wow, this is a building that's got a fence around it and it's now in the middle of the ghetto. I mean, that's really what it is.
It's changed.
It has. So it's like, national landmark. It's not like pulling up to the Hoover Dam and seeing it on your way into Vegas and like, wow, this is like, there's no reason this is the seventh wonder of the world. But yeah, Roswell, New Mexico.
So tell us one thing, other than all the alien stuff, that your area is known for.
Artesia, I'd have to say, I mean, around those parts, they're known for their football.
Yeah.
Big time football.
I'm good with that.
Yes, sir.
Well, that comes from being like Odessa also.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're real big over there too. But Artesia, they've got a college stadium pretty much for their high school field, and it's pretty extravagant.
Did you play any high school sports?
No, sir, I didn't. About when I turned 15, they told me to decide between Bulls and football, so I went ahead and stuck with Bulls.
In Artesia, though, there's a pretty big farming community around it, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah. It's big old field
cotton?
and
what is probably the biggest?
pecans.
Pecans. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
God, man, that'd be awesome.
He would be 900 pounds.
I love pecans.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see. I was just went to the OKC PBR. You and I met afterwards and all that kind of stuff and caught up. Yeah. So Saturday morning, my time with my dad, I grew up there in Yukon.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were spending a couple hours together, and I said, Pops, what do you want to do? You want to go somewhere? You want to go check something out? And he said, let's go pick pecans.
You went and pick pecans?
We went and picked pecans for an hour and 45 minutes. Yep. We'd pick a little bit. My dad would sit a little bit. We'd pick a little bit, talk a little bit. And it was freaking awesome.
Were there a lot on the ground already?
Yeah, tons. You know, the paper shell, the little bit bigger ones. And we just, you know, he was saying, hey, if you do this and turn it. And he was telling me how to pick them up. We've done it before, obviously, but my dad likes to tell me.
Do you make pies out of them, or
make everything?
Really?
I mean, my dad will
He eats a lot of pie. Look at him.
like, you know, I love pecans. Yeah. I mean, it just grew up. So, you know, he just freezer packs them. And I mean, when I say he has them, he'll have a whole freezer of just pecans.
Nice.
But that's what he does. Gets a 5-gallon bucket, cracks them, separates them, has his bowl, you know, has his container for the whole pieces and the little pieces.
Yep.
So, okay, so we got a fun pecans. Let's get back.
All right. Tell us, you started out this year, you were in California, right? Won a California Velocity event?
Yes, sir. Oakland. Yes, sir.
Won that event, got on tour, and have stayed on tour now,
Yes, sir.
making some points. Because it was it Chicago that you went to?
Yes, sir.
You were second, third up there? Or
I think I ended up fifth up there.
fifth? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, my point is that now you're on tour. Has life changed at all? No.
Not really. I mean, we travel every weekend, and it's just continuing to travel.
And you travel by yourself, right?
Yes, sir. Most of the time.
Why don't you and like Scotty jump in together? I don't even see where Scotty's at on the is he on the list this weekend? Is Knapp even on there?
I don't think so.
Scotty's a driver, so.
Yeah, we jump in every now and again, but when we're going to the same ones.
Yeah. A lot of guys this weekend, they're going to be coming and going from the American and semis and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but so tell us, what are of course the goal is now to make the World Finals.
Yes, sir.
It's always to chase the gold buckle. Totally understand that. But what are some other goals now that you're kind of seeing what it's like to be on this side of the PBR versus going to some local rodeos and things around West Texas?
You know, my next two goals is to go ahead and get a round win and an event win, but goal-wise, that makes it possible for like these PBRs. They pay so much more. I mean, you have a chance to go ahead and make your foundation right here within a year. Within, I mean, couple of weeks, you can have a couple 100,000.
It's true. Look at Cole.
Look at Cole.
Yes,
Cole's a great example of that.
Exactly.
You going so looking for a round win, event win. Are you gonna pro rodeo it all this summer?
No, sir. I'm gonna stick to the PBRs.
Okay.
That's about all that's on my mind right now.
So what changed? I think you and I talked about this, but I want to ask you again: is that, you know, what changes? We look at your journey, right? How long you been riding bulls? How long?
About 11 years now.
Okay, right. So if you look at, you know, if you jot through your history, it's like touring pro. What changed that? Either mindset or the physical preparation or the priority, what changed for you to move you this direction?
You know, really the biggest key was just like mentally telling myself to go for it and believing in myself and just going ahead and doing the things that I knew I needed to do to get here, rather than, you know, if I have time for it, I'll make it this week. Rather than that, it's just ain't got a job, don't got anything else to do but bull riding, and just kind of making an obsession with it. And that I feel like,
sorry, not to cut you off, you were talking, when we talked about this before, you said I had to make a decision, you know, and that was going to be the priority.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yeah. And I mean, you go from working week to week, and it just kind of, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's a mediocrity life, really. I mean, a lot of people get stuck in mediocre, and I feel like that's where I was. But I don't know, just something clicked and told me it was time to go ahead and just go full out and stop halfway doing things and go ahead and get serious.
Get comfortable and not do anything right, and you can live a pretty comfortable life that doesn't stress you out. You just kind of keep.
So you were blue collar in it. You were working. You were blue collar.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you were doing what now?
I was building fence.
Building fence, like Barbed wire fences.
Barbed wire fences. Pipe fence, anything. We're building it.
It's tough work.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, it's sun up, sundown every day.
I bet there's a lot of it in West Texas.
Oh, plenty of it.
Plenty of it. Especially the pipe work.
Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, you find a lot of guys that see an opportunity, and I'm going to use the Brazilians as an example. They know of a better life over here for riding bulls because of bulls. Mm-hmm. Guys like you say, hey, you know what? I don't really want to build fence for a living right now. I mean, you may enjoy building fence. My point is that you're like, hey, you know what? If I got an opportunity to go ride bulls and make a living, I'm going to go do it now. And you finally make that conscious decision to say, hey, I'm going to go do it now.
So you think, hey, I can always become a really good fence maker, but I may not have those opportunities to be a really good bull rider.
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, that's what's awesome. Again, we talk about it all the time. Rodeo is the one sport, bull riding, rodeo, is the one sport that allows you to do this.
Well,
I mean, because it's not like you're going to say, hey, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to suit up and I'm going to go be Patrick Mahomes' backup quarterback. You know, I'm going to be the backup to Patrick. It's not going to happen.
But it's still a champion's mentality that you have to grab. It just doesn't happen, right? I mean, you have to make that conscious decision that says, man, I'm going to put myself in a position where building fences is not going to be, the ebb and flow of my life.
Yes,
I want to be a bull rider. I've been a bull rider. I am a bull rider. I want to be a championship bull rider, right?
Yes, sir. And I just feel like, I mean, if you wake up in the morning and you're not completely pleased with where you're going that day and what you're doing that day, I just kind of made the transaction of got tired of doing that, and I wanted to do the things that I enjoyed and wanted to do rather than kind of just doing it because I had to, you know what I mean?
Well, David Goggins says, quit bitching and start digging.
Yep, exactly.
Quit bitching and start digging.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to hear about it. Be about it.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
So let's talk about it. So you've made the switch. Now you're up here, and now you're on this side of it. Are you becoming more of a study of the game? Or have you started studying the game closer?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, definitely. Bull-wise, I mean, I study bulls every week, and just training side of it, I mean, we're putting in twice as many hours as I was before, just working out and getting on the barrel and bulls, and just frees up a lot of time to go ahead and do those things that are needed.
Good. Are you, let's talk about bulls. This weekend, you've got a really good draw.
Yes, sir.
For those that don't know, we're coming into Kansas City this weekend. We're going to have a lot of guys in and out, and so we may talk about where we're at, and this podcast may not drop until later, but as of right now, you're getting on one of Cords this weekend. In the first round, I didn't even look to see if the second round was even out yet, and it may be, but you've got an opportunity. You've got a good bull to put you in a round win this weekend, especially being an ABBI.
Yes, sir.
You never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Bulls are going to be all over the boards. Kansas City proves every year to be a little bit of everything.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you see some of the craziest bull scores come out of Kansas City, and it's just because of the way.
That ABBI factor just changes it. It's like a ranker, right? Or you just
more unpredictable,
right? That's the word. Yeah, the unpredictable.
Well, and with that is you've got a number. I mean, some bulls show up here and some bulls don't.
Yes, sir.
Oklahoma City, it's bull power, bull power, bull power.
Yes, sir.
Kansas City's an ABBI. And the guys are always entering, trying to be the best. But some of these bulls perform in Kansas City, some don't. Back pins are a little different. Housing is different. I mean, it's just, it's not like.
It's different for them too, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's different for those animals to show up here and to have that. And so.
Do you remember 3 years ago? Was it 3 years ago when Jesse got on?
Jesse Tillman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Jesse got on, and about what bull was that?
I don't remember.
But about turned one on. I mean, he bucked off at 7-6 or something like that on a bull that was lights out.
Yeah, he was in as an alternate for the ABBI. Jesse was.
Yep.
And they had him get on because somebody DQ'd, and I forget. And Jesse, I mean, Bull just had a fantastic out, and so did Jesse, and he ended up bucking off right there. But the point was,
you never know.
You never know, right? Especially at this one, you never know.
Exactly.
A lot of other events, that you look at the list, and you're like, man, I'll use a Global Cup as an example. Global Cup, you look down through the list, and you're like, we know that bull, this bull, this bull. They got a rap sheet. We can go back. You can go to Pro Bull Stats. You can pull everything up you need to know about them. Here, it's a little different because some of these guys are still figuring it out. I mean, we may have seen them, as they came up through the ABBI ranks, but now it's a classic, and all of a sudden it's
So on that note, we kind of see this, but new maybe this level. Although you've probably had relationships with a lot of these guys that you're around. At some point, your paths have crossed, and you probably met. Is that something that you spend a lot of time with, asking guys about bulls?
You know, I don't tend to ask too much about a bull. I mean, I just really like to know if they're good or not. If they say they're good, they're good. If not, not. Because, I mean, bulls are so unpredictable. You never know.
Right.
I mean, you
about
could
the
get
time
on
you think you got them figured, they've got you.
Yes, sir. And, I mean, I feel like you could get on one bull for 12 years. He'll do the same thing. And then that next year, switch something up.
The crazy thing about it is that next year is usually championship round somewhere. And you think, I got this. We see it. We see it with guys who
we've seen it with Big Black.
Right.
I mean, they draw him for that reason, to win the rounds on him. And, I mean, you look at the NFR, there's a handful of bulls that get put in that 10th round that you want. It's like, I can get that one rode. I mean, and
so
it's
how do you
10th
approach
round.
that? I mean, is it, from a bull rider standpoint, is there different mental preparation? This week, the bull you have, is that different than it was 4 weeks ago?
No, not really. I feel like if you let it be, it will be. Like, you can really, I mean, you look at the draw and you see one that you've been wanting to get on and you're really excited and everything, and then you look at one and you don't know him. You've got to be able to carry that same excitement every weekend and just take them jump for jump. Because, like I said, you really don't know what's going to happen, so might as well be in your calmest state and just take them jump for jump.
Well, we see Cody kind of communicate. Cody Lambert, we see him kind of communicate with a lot of the guys. It's like, he'll say, hey, be ready. This is what this is what his tendency is. But you be ready for, you ride it jump for jump. You ride the bull. Don't ride what you think the bull's going to do.
Yes, sir. And I mean, there is those ones that, like you said, he'll tell you be ready. You know what I mean? And I mean, there's those ones. But I think at this level, once those bulls do come up here, everybody kind of knows those ones that are got that little trick to them, that a little treacherous rather than just a good sucker. You know what I mean?
You've made the jump. Now you're up here, and you're going. You do travel by yourself. We've talked about that.
Sir.
Who have you traveled with in the past that
Your buddies?
Anybody? I mean, who are guys that you've traveled with that you're like, that you got along with, or is there a camaraderie for you? Because I grew up in the rodeo world. Most people know that know the show and those things. And I grew up. Justin talks about. I grew up with Justin Rumford and Haley. They're like my brother and sister, along with my sisters and Jeff Rector. And so there's a pretty tight knit group of us kids that grew up together that are still in the rodeo industry. Do you have that same bond? Is there anybody? I mean, we've talked to like Bonner and things.
I really, to be honest, I mean, there's a few guys that I hang out with around at the house and everything, but I just basically go my own direction because from there I'm pretty much the only guy out of that area
Gotcha.
going to these deals. So it's kind of come here, and then that, I feel like that kind of, I don't know, you don't ever have anybody harping on you for anything, or I mean, it's kind of your own way. You do
gotta
what
make
you
it
want.
yourself, yeah.
And once you get there, everybody's excited to see you, so you meet up with those friends and get that camaraderie.
Dalton Castle's from your area. He's about half hour away.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
right?
He is.
Were you familiar with him before he was on the
more
scene?
than half hour. Yeah,
I know. But,
yeah, I seen Dalton probably about a couple of years ago is when I first started seeing him coming around, and I mean, he lit the house on fire.
Right?
Yeah,
you kind of knew it. Like, this kid's gonna be.
Yeah, and it was kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, because he's a mule shoe. He's not. Yeah, he's a little bit far.
Yeah, he's a couple hours north of him.
Gotcha.
But
Mule Shoes home.
We don't ever. I guess we don't ever travel together or nothing. So,
what for you? You're not going to pro rodeo this summer. You're going to continue to work out and go to. You plan on hitting like Pendleton and those that have got PBRs? Is that kind of the?
Oh yes, sir. Every weekend, it don't matter if it's a turn pro or velocity. Okay. I'm gonna go to them. Definitely.
Good. You. I don't know. I was trying to think of, as you've gone through the process now. You're a couple weeks in. Is there anything that you've found that you'd like to have changed going into Kansas City, or are you game planning the same way this weekend?
No, I mean, game planning the same way. Well,
let's talk about your injury, right?
Okay.
That you're coming off of,
yes,
right?
sir. Yeah.
So, I mean, just in your preparation, I know last week, you were back in action, right? But before that, it was a fracture in your...
cracked up in my shoulder.
Was that Sacramento?
No,
Oklahoma
City.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I couldn't remember.
Yep.
But no, I just training harder, definitely. I feel like these last 2 weeks, I've definitely done a bunch more rehab stuff. We done cryotherapy and doing little things like that I've learned that these guys are doing also to be able to feel their 100 the next week rather than just go home and relax and throw an ice bag on it. No, they're going in there and training and doing all these sessions and stuff, and it really does help.
If you're working out and you can go in the cryo machine and expedite your recovery time, allows you to get 2 more workouts in a week.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Every time.
Yeah. Kind of, I want to say it was Triplet that kind of really was one of the first guys.
Tripp's always done like hot yoga and cryo, and he's kind of always been willing to do the out of the norm cowboy therapy.
Out of the cowboy norm.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you go over to the other side, other sports are doing all these things.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've ice bathed in football for 30 years. I mean, that's nothing new to see guys ice bathing.
Right.
I mean, and cryoing is very similar, but it's just a lot colder, a lot shorter time span.
Yeah.
And it works. But I mean, it's.
Do you do the yoga?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we try to do yoga when we can. We don't have a studio there in Monahans.
Do a hot yoga?
Yeah, they don't.
Do you do yoga?
I'll take extra cheese.
he looks.
I probably do as much yoga as you do.
I don't know.
Yo, I know. I know.
We might have to have a yoga contest if there is such a thing.
Back the camera. I need the wide angle.
Goat yoga.
What kind of filter? I wonder what kind of filter you could put on there to protect everybody from seeing that.
Just not record it.
I assure you, it's not recorded.
If you would do goat yoga, I would record you.
Goat yoga?
Goat yoga.
Yeah.
Dude, that would probably be inappropriate, wouldn't it be?
No, like JB and Brisby did goat yoga last year at or maybe it was the Bullfight. I forget what it was, going into high school finals last year. Year ago.
Explain to us all what goat yoga is.
It's where you get down on a mat and you do yoga, and they let baby goats run around and they jump on you and all these things.
I saw Matt West.
So it'd be like a normal day at the zoo for you.
Yeah. I don't remember going to the zoo, but okay. I saw Matt posted on social media. Did you see it? He was doing the sled.
Yeah.
And his dogs.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I mean, I'd be huffing and puffing. I wouldn't, I'd be like, get away. Whatever. Maybe that's because he's Matt West.
Yeah. Yeah. We said you're going to go down there and work out with Matt on your way back to Texas, put a workout in with him, and
hey, he's got a nice place.
Got a really nice gym down there. Westfit is, and I think
really he's
nice.
expanding. I think they're looking at doing 3 more.
Nice.
But it's pretty cool. It's in it's in a smaller town, but man, it is.
It's cool. I'm excited
top-notch.
to check it out.
It is very cool.
All right. Well, I think we're about to the end. Kansas City's in front of you, and what's even better than that is you've got Kansas City. You've got Little Rock, you've got Duluth, you've got a lot ahead of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now it's just a matter of staying healthy.
Any predictions? Where do you want to be?
I want to be definitely in the top 10 going into the finals for sure this year.
And what does it take for you to get in the top 10?
Staying on my Bulls.
Right.
That's it.
Well, this is a good weekend.
It truly is that simple. That's people always say. Well, it takes you got to do this and this. It's the old goes back to the old Garth Brooks song when he talks about keep your mind in the middle. That's really what this sport's about.
Yes,
and
sir.
people don't realize it. They think it's just I hate to refer to a country song as to what it really is, but when guys are mentally not ready for this sport, they don't have the success.
Yes, sir.
And when you've got when you're mentally prepared in all sports. I mean, we talk
and
about
there's always the exceptions.
There are always the exceptions.
Outliers,
it's the Patrick Mahomes of Kansas City is the exception because most everybody else can't throw the ball the way he does and doesn't.
But he does. I mean, I was thinking more of the JB against the grain type of thing. JB was never really a workout guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he was working cattle. He was doing all the other stuff that put you in shape. Lifting,
it's a different
hauling hay and all that kind of stuff. But he was never really a workout guy. And it worked for him. There's always going to be those special guys.
Yep, I agree.
The guy who can walk out, play football, probably start on the basketball team, start on the football team, play golf, right? Might even be able to ride bulls, maybe, But for
Not
the most
me.
part,
Not even going to attempt it.
And what was your record when you were riding bulls?
I've never rode bulls.
Huh.
0. I got on a lot of steers.
Did you?
Yeah, we talk about that all the time because we videoed it.
Did you?
Yeah,
You and Justin?
me and Justin and Haley. That's a true story. Yeah. So the way the story
Hey,
goes
just
is
because all three of you say the story doesn't make it true.
No,
just
it-
because you guys have.
I'm going to tell you right now.
All told
we
the
have
story
video.
enough.
We have video proof of that particular story. We got told not to get on, not to do anything with the steers, and we did. And we all rode. Actually, we got in trouble because we allowed Haley to get on, and Haley got hurt, and then we were in trouble for it.
It was your fault.
I did hang a spur. We had our arena had.
You were literally wearing spurs.
Yeah, dude, I wore spurs every day. You don't ever take your spurs off. It wasn't like wearing bull riding spurs. I had on my spurs.
Working spurs.
Yeah, I had my spurs from
Were they
gathering
PBR
horses. No, they weren't PBR. Oh my gosh. True story is I got on and bull ran me down the fence, or steer ran me down the fence, and we'd had these roping steers around a long time. I mean, they were pretty good size.
And how old were you at this time? Just let me thought it. 15, 16,
No,
20, 19?
Probably 16 to 18. I don't know, somewhere in there. I mean, I think I was still in high school. But when he got me down the fence, I hung a spur in the fence, and he went one way and I went the other.
Yanked you off.
Yeah, I was upside down, and I can remember them having to try and lift me up and get me out of the fence. And yes,
were they having a hard time lifting you up?
I don't remember that part because I was upside down in the fence.
What, they couldn't lift 152 pounds?
Well, that would have been one side of that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, but yes, I've been on a handful of those.
Haley got hurt.
Haley got hurt. Yeah, I don't remember all of it. I just remember Haley getting hurt, and then it was my fault or Justin's fault that Haley got on and got hurt. So,
And was that coming from
Bronk? Yeah,
the boss?
yeah. So he was mad at us for doing that, which is fine. I mean, we got in trouble a lot.
That wasn't the first.
All you got to do is go listen to Rump Chat for about 10 minutes, and you'll know
those stories.
Yeah, you'll know that none of us were. Let me say this. When Justin talks about those stories, what is true about them is the fact that they really did happen, and people are always like, "Oh, that didn't happen to you," or that. No, we really did that stupid stuff. I mean, we really did. I mean, we were that dumb. I'll say it. We were that dumb, and we didn't have a care in the world because really our world revolved around rodeo, and everything that was rodeo, we were rodeo. I mean, we did everything every day, and when we weren't at a rodeo doing a rodeo, we were tearing stuff up. Or each other, or
same. It wasn't rodeo, but it was something.
Yeah, I mean that was just part of what we did. I mean, we had BB gun wars, and we had as a kid, and so because we were putting on pro rodeos everywhere we went.
Okay, stop. Did you ever have BB gun wars?
No, yeah.
Roman candle wars?
No,
We didn't do Roman candles because fireworks around horses didn't work. But if you went to the corner of the barn off the feed deal, you could bounce it off of there and hit the guy around the corner if you were a pretty good shot, or if you shot fast enough.
I always enjoyed, we had BB gun wars, and everybody had those Red Ryder BB guns.
Yeah.
Well, then the pump ones came out. So we made it a rule. Well, since you got the pump one, you can only pump it 10 times, and you'll be about a half a mile away and get hit and start crying.
Yeah.
Then you'll catch them in the corner, 101, 102. Like,
It was never 10.
Yeah. No,
Never. That could be a Justin and Cody
Oh
story.
man, we did all that stuff, and we did, and you know, look at us now. We're still here,
right?
That's all I can say.
You'd never wear your seatbelt.
Man, we were driving semis loaded with stock at 14.
I understand.
I mean, honestly,
That was a long time ago.
it was. But I mean, I can remember being 16 years old, leaving Cushing, Oklahoma, driving to Kansas City with a load of stock. loaded. I mean, just rolling on. It was just what we did. And you know what? It was. I think now that I have a 16-year-old, I'm like, oh hell no.
That wouldn't be cool for Tess.
No, it wouldn't be. No, it wouldn't be. But I think back, I'm like, we may have tore some stuff up. We had a good time though. I mean, I don't get into stories like Justin does. If you need to hear all those stories, you can jump over to Rump Chat and listen to those stories.
It's all
because he sells us out every week. Like we're to the point now where we might have to have like a weekly conference call to say, yeah, you can tell that story, or no, you can't, because I've had to ban my kids from listening because now they come back to me and said, oh, I heard what you did when you were no more listening to Justin's stories. So. Enough of that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The rodeo world
that's a whole different world.
That's right. It's a whole other world. So
you'll have to start your own.
No, I'm not. Justin can do that just fine.
Yep. It's all good.
Because honestly, I'll be totally honest, I forgot half of them. And that's probably a good thing. So.
Were you a wild child?
About the same. Harmless fun.
Yeah.
I mean, every now and again people get hurt, but
isn't it amazing? Harmless fun back in the day. Today is like, oh my Lord. Just like you were talking about. You'd never let Tess take off 16-year-old pulling a 40-foot trailer with 10 horses on it.
No.
Right?
Not a chance.
Not nowadays, right?
No.
Right.
But I'll promise you, maybe it's just because maybe it's me or all us. I'm going to say us. I can remember it being in a truckload of us. And it was myself and Haley and Justin and
bunch of kids.
Sam Grass. I don't know if you know who Sam Grass is. Sam was a world champion bullfighter. Sam lived with us. And Jeff Rector, pickup man. And I mean, I'm going to say we were all still in high school. I know that. And here we are leaving from one rodeo going to the next. And I can remember just the thinking back now, if that was my daughter running up and down the road,
with the hooligans.
She was as much a hooligan as we were. So Haley, I'm not going to give any excuses for her. She did her fair share and got us all in trouble, but we were still responsible, I guess is what I'm going to say, because we always got from point A to point B. We always made sure our stock was taken care of.
Took care of your horses.
Mm-hmm. We always, loaded, unloaded, we didn't do any of that stuff until we didn't. I mean, honestly, we made sure stock was fed. We were responsible about how we did things. I can remember, we used to have, at one time we had 20 head of done pickup production horses everywhere we went. And those done horses, every day at 2:00, we started giving baths. And it was every day. It wasn't like, hey, we're at the pool or anything. We knew at 2:00 when we got done sorting, we had to start washing horses. And horses had to get saddled. And then you got to saddle 20 head of horses and have them ready for the rodeo that night. I mean, we had as we went through our day, it was pretty structured. Now, when the lights went off in the arena that night, we'd always have we'd have a good time. But we got home, we'd try and defrag.
It's amazing the difference. I mean, just the level of responsibility, even though it was a little bit wilder, now it'd be like, okay, make sure and call. Whoop, nope, I'm checking your phone. Those things of just the over security of us with our children nowadays, right? I think we talk about this constantly. It's like, oh my gosh.
I went down in your part of the world, I went to Andrews, Texas one time. Mm-hmm. We went down to pick up a load of rope and steers from the Fishers. And we drove down, drove back, and I was with Uncle Tommy. And Uncle Tommy said, man, I don't feel very good. So he crawled in the back seat. And I started driving. And I think I drove like 18 hours of the whole trip because he was sick in the back seat. And I look now, I'm like, man, I think I was 17 at the time, loaded with steers. And I had Tommy there with me the whole time. So it wasn't like anything was going to happen to me. But just the level of responsibility of a semi and a trailer and all the stock that was on that trailer. They trusted us. That was part of growing up in the family, as you were trusted. But now that I have a 16-year-old that runs around and does stuff, oh no. Mm-hmm. And especially now with cell phones, oh no. We'd all be in jail. There's no
you're
doubt.
You're 27 or 28?
28.
28. So you think your bull riding was really kind of your lifestyle, right?
Yes, sir.
Because you were talking about choosing bull riding over sports and kind of that. Mm-hmm. So that was your world. That was that was your circle, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's kind of same industry.
And when we got to rodeos, we didn't like bull riders.
Why? They were just different, tough guys?
Yeah. I mean, bull riders, they'd pull in late. may have
What's the last thing?
14 of them crawl out of a car. Honestly, and then they get there and they'd be like, hey, what's this bull? What's this bull? And be like, he bucks. That was always our answer. He bucks. Because it was just, you grow up and it's like, and now I look back, I'm like, yeah, the bull riders aren't so bad. It's the team ropers now that drive me crazy.
What's your take on that? Huh?
I don't know.
Do you rope at all?
That's two different sides of the arena.
Do you rope at all?
I can, yes, sir, but I don't like horses too much.
You don't like horses too much?
No.
Oh.
Is there a reason for that? Or is it just,
yeah.
You want to share it?
Yeah. I mean, shoot. We was breaking horses when I was like 15. And my buddy, I never really liked horses. And he was always the one to ride them. And then I'd go ahead and put a rein on them and everything. And there was one day that she was the one out of the group, and she did tear him up, and it was like my turn to step up to the plate.
I'll show you.
Yeah, and I got on this horse,
hold my drink.
and I mean, this sucker flipped me all around, flipped me on her head, and I ended up laying sideways on the saddle like that. And when she kicked up again, it belly flopped me, and I mean, had no shirt on at this point. I mean, I was done. So. No horses.
No thanks.
No thank you.
Where I was, we rode a lot of horses. I mean, that's kind of what we were known for, was saddle horses. I mean, just rodeo horses in general. And so our term was always kick them up and elope. When Brown collared to kick them and elope, you knew that you either got your deep seat or you better hope he doesn't buck, or because it was bound to happen. And it happened a lot. And so you got to pass all that. So that was a long time ago. But a lot of good times, good stories. So that's what I enjoy about the rodeo world is, you're from New Mexico, I'm from Kansas City, and yet the rodeo world has allowed us to join together. Cris the same way, middle of Oklahoma, and so. But here we are in the weekend, so good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you the rest of the summer, the rest of the year on tour, and good things to happen.
Yes, sir. Planning on it. Thank you.
All right.